So it took me long enough, but I finally watched episode 9 of House of the Dragons, entitled The Green Council. So they start out the episode where whatchamacallit, one of the servants, one of the little boy went and told Alicent's servant that the king had died. Okay, so they set up a council meeting to plot this whole thing to get Prince Aegon in the on the throne. And one of these dudes, he up there, he 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 said something about um Allison was being a usurper and all that, and doggone Sir Christian killed him. And the Lord Commander of the Watch, he resigned because he said he's only there to protect the king, and it ain't no king there, so he ain't finna do no protecting. So she gonna sit. Um, Sir Cole is the new Lord Commander. I am getting so tired of Cole. I liked him at first, but now I can't stand him. And doggone, Princess Rhaenys, she up in there, up in still at the place 'cause she was there, to discuss the Lord of the Tides thing. And they locked her in the room, and then later on, Allison went in there and asked her to support Aegon, and she said no, so they kept her captive. And throughout this whole episode, they on a goose chase trying to find Aegon. Um, they on a goose chase trying to find him. It was the twins. They named Eric and Eric, and they was going on Lord. Well, not that he Lord, but he made me mad. They were going on Otto's discretion, and doggone then they had Allison had Amon and Christian, and doggone they on this goose chase. And they went to this doggone child fight pit. The twins did, and doggone they look and they see a doggone bastard. Hair jet hair the same color. He a Targaryen. They says doggone Aegon child. I said, Lord have mercy. And Aegon is hiding because he don't wanna accept he don't wanna accept he didn't wanna do that. He said father didn't like him. He said father didn't want him to be the king, which he didn't. He didn't, but Allison talked about he gave his last words were talking about he wanted whatchamacallit to sit on the throne. No, he did. He did. But doggone Aegon out there hiding, and eventually the twins find him first, and they brought him out of there, and they got into a whole battle with Sir Cole. And one of the twins got into a battle, and the other twin just sat there and watched. I'm sitting there saying, something going on. He's sitting there watching, but I'll get to that in a minute. And Aegon is running, and Aemon just tackles him. He said, "Brother, I'll disappear." Aemon sitting there thinking, cause he did say, he's a great fighter. He's this and he's that. He's better than Aegon. He was saying that to Kristen. But and I forget. They went to a character. She's like this master of secrets. They call her the White Worm, and she the one told them what Aegon was. Um, and they forced him out of there. Now let me just get to this right here, this little disturbing part, cause I don't blame Loris, what he named clubfoot or something like that. Um, he told Allison how his spies and her daddy pays them so much money to get what um what he wants, and this is the spies that are under the white worm. And doggone, we finally get to what finally get to what Lawrence is getting out of the whole business deal between him and Allison. Cause he been working with her for the longest, and he did also told her lady in waiting or whatever, her handmaid or whatever, was also working for them. She sit there and put her foot up, on the table, and he just his eyes getting bucked. He just sitting there, and she pulled her sock off. Let me tell you, his doggone hand went down in his pants. That thing, he over there groaning. I said, ain't this some mess? Look at him. Now, from a man who got a foot fetish, I ain't crazy like this. This man he just moaning and stuff. And you could just tell she's so disgusted by it. But she getting that deal. She getting that deal. um, and back to this, they having this whole coronation for Aegon. And throughout the episode, you can tell Aegon, he said he don't have a sense for duty. He don't want to be king. He already said everybody hate him. He asked his mama, do she love him? He know nobody don't care about him. Nobody really don't care about him. But and this way that they finna have this coronation, they carrying all the citizens in the whole king's land. And Eric, whichever one of the twins, went and broke Ray's niece out of her room and said he can't stand for this treason. He knows that Viserys wanted Rhaenyra as the queen, and he said he couldn't stand that, so he went and broke Ray's niece out of the out of her room. I think it's um Eric, the one who did it, and they got trapped by all the citizens on the way there, on the way to see Aegon's coronation. Okay, and they got separated. And at first, she was telling him they gotta get her dragon, and he said, you gotta leave the dragon. She said, I ain't gonna leave my dragon. But doggone, um, eventually they got separated, and she got dragged into the coronation. And why? Let me just say, when they was having this coronation, they brought Aegon out, and when them people went to cheering and stuff, Aegon looked like he said, I'm loved. This dude went to raising the sword black fire up in the air. He was saying himself, I'm loved. I ain't loved by my family, but I'm loved by the people. You know, and doggone, they doing this, and Rhaenys sneaks out, and a few minutes later, here she come in the middle of all the citizens with her dragon. And boy, they went to running, and folks trying to close the gate, the guards trying to close the gate, folks breaking through, and doggone, the terror on Allison and Aegon and Otto's face, they thought she was finna get the dragon to kill them, and I wanted it too. But she went on left, and I guess she's gonna go warn Rhaenyra about that they usurping her. They committing treason. This episode was great. They had to step up the gate after seeing how great the last episode was. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this episode is as good as the last episode. Episode 1, I mean, episode 8, The Lord of the Times, was my favorite episode throughout this whole show so far. This, The Green Council, is my second favorite without a doubt. Without a doubt, this is my second favorite episode. This episode was wonderful. Just the whole thing, you can see how with Aegon, how corruption and being in power and how cheers and stuff makes you feel love, especially when your family has belittled you your entire life and that your mother has told you what you need to do and what you need to be and all this. You can tell how that love from everybody in the King's Landing gave him such comfort. And I just love how Rhaenys, she was such a badass in this episode. We didn't see Rhaenyra in this episode, but Rhaenys was so great in this episode, and I loved it. Now, on a score out of 10, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It did not surpass the last episode, but this episode was so wonderful. It was so great. I wanted to see how they would continue now that Viserys is gone, and I'm gonna miss him without a doubt because him and Damon, my favorite two characters throughout the whole show, and I'm gonna miss him. And I was kind of missing Damon through this episode, but I was missing both of them through this episode, and I wanted. And even though this episode was missing both of them, it was a great episode. My two favorite characters weren't in it, but it was great. Yeah, but a 9.5 out of 10.